talking all day.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Question of the Day, Friday edition. We're right back right after a short intro. And we are back.
Very short intro.
Yes, it's a very short intro. I'm trying to make one that's longer, but it's a pain in the butt.
It's all good.
But anyhow, our guest will be coming in shortly. We're just waiting for her to come on in. So I've heard, and there she is. Boom.
Boom.
Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you good. So, tonight we have Miss Sarah Jo Galvin on with us tonight.
Hi, gorgeous.
Hey.
So, how are we doing today? I know how you're doing. How's Cynthia doing?
Well, I mean, I worked most of the day, and then what I was hoping to get done after work got canceled.
Right.
But we'll talk about that at a later time because I'm not telling anybody what I'm doing until I get it done.
Right.
So
We got Miss Penny in chat.
I got a new pretty.
A new
I got a new pretty.
And Mr. Scott.
Ooh, that's really pretty. Heck yeah.
She's going to use as what? Both a
pendulum and a necklace.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So Storm Lake has decided to welcome in a new vape shop.
I still hear the other word, and I'm not going to say it.
I know you do, and you are naughty. It's
I'm not going to say it.
It's called From Earth Wellness or something like that. And apparently it's a franchise or a satellite because there's a shop in Sioux City just like it. And they have all kinds of, different vapes and CBD stuff and stuff to help you quit smoking and all that fun stuff. And then I found out they have witchy stuff too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They have tarot cards and incense and sage bundles and
that'll be next, tarot cards.
Yeah. Well, okay. So their tarot cards that they have right now are the really small mini decks.
Oh.
The ones that you can get in bulk.
Oh.
So yeah. So but
she's gonna get a bulk.
But the reason why they're selling those is because they haven't had their grand opening yet, so they're still doing the soft opening. And so they haven't brought up their whole selection of crystals and stuff like that. But she said since I stopped in tonight, she's like, well, now I know there's a market for it, so I can start bringing more stuff up. And I'm like, heck yeah. If I don't have to drive 2.5 hours either southwest or southeast of me to go get my witchy stuff,
hey,
I'm a happy girl. So.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, Sarah Jo.
Hey.
She's like, sup? That's me.
Hold on.
Oh, we're good now.
Let me take a drag here.
Uh-huh.
That's funny.
Cheers.
It's so funny when I said hold on, it's like my whole screen went blank for a second.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And well, the thing is the culprit was the cat that came through my entertainment center. He likes to shut my stuff off.
Don't mind. I'll have a couple of them running around here.
Oh, I trust me. I have a dog sitting right to my left, 2 dogs in front of me, and a cat sitting in front of me. So hey,
Yep, I
works.
just pushed him away. I'm like, don't start. Okay, go sleep in my chair. There you go. Good boy. Now we're all set. So, Sarah, you want to let the people here know who you are?
Yeah, so Sarah Jo Galvin, um, born and raised between Holstein and Cushing, Iowa. Bona fide farmer's daughter. Got a couple of horses and a donkey, a couple of cats. Golly, I hate talking about myself.
This is what we do.
I know.
your whole life story.
I'm from divorced parents. I've got 2 older brothers. So forgive my frankness. Yeah. After I graduated high school, I moved away some 5 hours away, went to culinary school, got my associates, and then moved even farther away down to Missouri and studied vocal education and performance for a hot minute for about a year and a half. And then I randomly took a juvenile delinquency and victimology class and fell in love with it. So I changed majors and double majored in psychology and criminal justice systems. Did social work for a while. Worked with kiddos who were addicted to all kinds of drugs, you name it. And now how do I put this? Babysit the most violent sex offenders in the state of Iowa up at Cherokee.
Ugh,
For a living. Yep.
sounds like fun.
It's something. There's shit that goes on there that you cannot make it up at all. You could write a book over this stuff. It's
Hey, Christy,
You're not
welcome to the
lying.
show.
So that's what I do. That's how I met Thomas through the social worker field, who's now my partner for Parafly, Paranormal Investigation. And we've always, I remember we were sitting in court one day. Yeah, we were sitting in court one day and just talking about paranormal stuff. And I was like, there's no way you're into this. And he's like, yeah, I'm actually part of an investigative team. I'm like, what? I would love to like get involved or do something. And anyway, a couple years went by and here we are. Now he's my partner in this crazy world.
Hey, I mean, what a good way to break in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No? Thomas is good shit.
Yeah, he really is.
His mirrors are very interesting.
So we're making me a mirror. I bought this beautiful frame from a secondhand store. I'm pretty sure it's pure silver, and
Hey, Lori.
the mirror in it, I'm not quite sure if that's like old school silver or not. He was just going to cut me his own piece of glass and make me a black mirror. So I'm super excited, super nervous to have one of those things in my house. I have yet to sit in front of one.
Oh, you haven't yet?
No, I have this thing where like I'm so afraid of being vulnerable, both in like the real world and also the paranormal world, that like it freaks me out. I don't want to lose control. And I think that comes from a lot of like trauma in my childhood of like the fear of losing control, not letting anybody in, not, X, Y, and Z. It just floods into everything. So
you and I'll have to get together and do some work.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Because I actually got to try out the one at Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
And oh yeah. I'm also trying to look at seeing if I can get Thomas to make me a mirror as well.
Hey, Tom.
In the house. But yeah, sorry about the weird looks a little bit ago. My dog is sitting on my bed, barking at my closet door.
What you got in there?
Nothing.
What soul
See?
did you trap in there?
I didn't. At least I don't think I did. If I did, I don't know who the hell I have in there, but it's a little bit creepy. Won't lie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I'm sitting
I
here
had
and
to
my
say
dog
it.
is just my dog is just going nuts over my closet door, and I'm thought I had all the bodies hidden anyway. Damn it!
Oh, sorry. Cat's out of the bag now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Shit, I hate that when that happens.
I mean, I was hoping I had everything hidden, but apparently not.
She has me trapped in her locked closet.
Uh-huh.
It's funny.
So
Oh, man.
that
So,
or Roland's trying to make an appearance somewhere.
maybe.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
Well, not while I'm in the middle of a podcast.
It would be if he showed up right up behind you.
No, because there's a
could say
wall
hi.
behind me. No. There's a wall behind me, Darren.
I know.
No.
It's either that or is it the little girls that we heard during our first phone call ever?
Not funny. Not even close to being funny.
Tracy?
Actually,
Okay, so
yes,
Tracy
it
made
is.
her own
It's
Black
hilarious.
Mirror. Oh, it's hard to do.
It's not hard to do.
No.
Was it? Oh, not hard to
Not
do.
really.
Sorry. I
I don't
misread.
know. I just want Thomas to make mine just I don't know.
Have it just right.
Yeah, have it just right, and I don't know. I think it'd just be cool.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd probably find some way to mess it up. I'm really, really good.
I don't think you can't mess it up.
No, I'm really, really good
No.
at
You'd be fine.
that.
Give me a mirror. I'll mess it up.
He's not lying.
I just gotta look at it with the right eye.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Gonna say he's not lying.
Oh. So what got you, I should say, what was your very first paranormal experience?
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh golly. I didn't know it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you would call it paranormal or just spiritual. It was when my parents were going through their divorce. I was like in junior high, going into high school, and I was just like pissed off at the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just cussing God out and being like, dude, if you're real, show me. Because I've about had it. I don't have much of anything to believe in anymore. Because your whole world comes crashing down because you think you have the perfect family, the perfect parents. Everything's just great. They did a good job of hiding their problems. Anyway, and I came home from cross-country practice, made supper for the family, whatever, and it was pretty typical of my dad and I to like throw on Magnum PI and have a bowl of ice cream after supper. So I went to the kitchen and got us both a bowl of ice cream. I don't know what the boys were doing. And anyway, from the kitchen, you walk into the living room and there's like a China buffet that you have to walk past. And it was like kind of a mass no bigger than what's in my hands here. And it was like the best way I've ever been able to describe it is it snows outside, the sun comes out the next day and puts a crust over it, and then it frosts over that night, and the next day it's super fucking sparkly. Really sparkly, and that's like what the mass was like. Very, very sparkly, very like white, kind of colors, crystal colors, like you would see like in a diamond, but like the different sparkles would kind of grow and dissipate while it was like I don't know, it was weird. And I just remember like walking past and being like, okay, cool. What's that? It's not impressing me, like whatever. 15-year-old me was like, no. Anyway, and then I think it was like later that week or the next week, I had cross country practice in the morning because I had shit going on after school that night, whatever. And I got up really, really early, took a shower. And like when you're really tired, your vision is kind of like channel 3, just kind of fuzzy. You're just not
like me every day.
Yeah. So anyway, I pull the curtain shut on the shower, and this mass is right next to me, and it's bigger. And I'm like, what in the hell? And I'm thinking, I'm just really tired, and I just, rub my eyes, whatever, and I turn, and it's still there. I'm like, what in the hell? And so I'm going like this, with the water rolling down my face, like, what is wrong with me? And I look over, and it is still there, like between me and the shower curtain. So it's like within reach. So I get this bright idea of like, I wonder if I can touch this. I wonder what it feels like if it's just like,
I'm gonna touch it.
Yeah, like static or something. And as soon as like I went out to reach for it, it was gone. And
so it likes to peep, but it doesn't like you to touch it.
I don't know. So ever since then, if I'm paying attention, especially if I'm paying attention, I see those sparkles like every day. It's not necessarily in a mass, but I see those sparkles every day. The only other time I've seen it in a mass form was, I think it was like in 2011 or 12. I came home from college and my dad was wanting to buy carpet for his bedroom. And of course he can't pick it out by himself, so I had to go with him. And we were driving on 59 going north from Holstein to Cherokee. And it was like, it came down from nowhere and it hit his head, and then it hit the bill of his hat, went out, and it was like a waterfall just right there. And he's just talking about his day, whatever. And I'm just looking at him like,
wow.
I don't even know what to say. And I can't even say anything because he might think that I'm crazy. I told him about it years later. He knows everything now, but like, that's the only other time I've seen it in a mass form. Otherwise, it's just
somebody's got you by their side.
I don't know. I have no idea who it could be because I didn't have anybody like significant in my life that died.
It could be spirit guides.
I was just gonna say that.
I don't see, and I don't know anything about that or what those could be.
Again, you and I will have to sit down and chat.
Well, let's talk. What are these spirit guides? What are those things?
Well, okay, so your spirit guides are, and it doesn't exactly have to be a relative or anything. It can be anyone that was close to you or anyone who, any spirit that feels like a kinship with you. They become your spirit guide. They kind of become your inner voice. So like the intuition that you feel on a day-to-day basis when you get the gut feelings, or when you kind of get that little voice in your head, and no, I'm not talking to schizophrenia, but when you get that little voice in your head that sits there and tells you, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should try that, or whatever, that's a spirit guide. And a way to be able to find out if you have one, or who it may be, is through meditation. Another way is to seek out a psychic medium, and see if maybe some psychic mediums specialize in helping you figure out who your spirit guides are. So yeah, I would say if you are able to calm yourself and calm your mind enough to be able to meditate, that would be something to look into. They have several how-to or helpful videos on YouTube that you can look up on how to figure out who your spirit guide is.
So how do you tell the difference between like your subconscious your own intuition telling you these things
Mhm.
versus a spirit guide? I guess I'm kind of a skeptic when it comes to that.
Well, and that's totally cool. So for me, myself, um, it's kind of like how I determine when I'm someplace where I have a spirit communicating with me. It's kind of me stepping back going, okay, so is that my own thoughts, or is that something that I usually wouldn't say or think of saying or doing or whatever,
Yeah.
For me, like when I go to Malvern and I go up to Hank's room, and how I determine whether it's a thought inside my head or Hank actually cussing me out and trying to throw me out of his room, is usually, okay, is that something that I would normally say, or, and just kind of sorting it out in my head.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of sitting down and analyzing, you know, which is something you're very good at with the psychology and the social work and all of that. You sit down and you analyze, okay, is this something that I would normally do, or is this, a suggestion that I would normally think of? Because if it's not, it could be,
Mm-hmm.
it could be spirit guide. It could be, spirit trying to tell you something.
I couldn't meditate. I'd fall asleep.
I think my own
I
analytical
can't get,
mind gets in my
yeah.
own way. Like
Yeah, I can't get my head to calm down enough.
No, I'm not very good at it either. I've tried, even went to South Korea and did all the Buddhist temple overnight stay and stuff, and it was beautiful.
Really?
It was
Ooh.
life changing, really. I'm not very good at sitting still. I'm not.
Okay, so I do have a recommendation though. If you decide to try and meditate, okay, these are harmonizers. They're copper harmonizers.
Okay.
There's 2 of them in a set. And I sit there and I hold on to those, and they focus your energy, and they actually kind of amp up the energy a little bit.
Okay.
To where it kind of helps, it puts everything in a little more clearer and a little more in focus. So like something like that. I'm trying to do this without. Yeah. Love them.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out what my spirit guide yet is. I think it's just my.
Well,
I know I'm full of experiments, so I got to figure out who's on my side for experiments.
I don't know. So funny story about mine real quick, and then we'll get into the questions that we have for Sarah about the wonderful places that she's worked.
Absolutely.
I came to figure out that one of my spirit guides is named Katie. I call her Katie because that's just the name that kept repeating in my head as I was trying to figure out, who this spirit that was talking to me was. Just kept going by Katie. Well, I went and had a reading done by Robert Baca at one of Kelly's shows. And Robert Baca is a very gifted psychic medium. Very gifted. He is amazing. I've had 2 readings done by him, and both of them have been just absolutely, jaw-dropping.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that for somehow, some way, I have what he considered an attachment, quote unquote.
Hey, a little bit on right.
She is supposed to be Catherine Moore from Veluska.
Oh.
I am still trying to figure this out because I've been there once. Had only been there once. Went there with Roland and Taylor, and hold on.
We have our friend a little bit.
What's wrong with you?
A little
She's
bit
barking
upright.
at the closet door again. Oh my god. But anyway, I did get an EVP when we were at the day tour of Villisca of a female, and it was a very clear, you can hear it clear as a bell. It said, "Look at me."
Ugh.
Now, is that something? I don't know. I still have not figured that out. That's something I'm still working through. But could Katie be Catherine? Possibly.
Yeah.
So, and I sit there and I think about it and I'm like, okay, I have no familial ties to that I know of. But then again, I am adopted.
Right.
So I don't know. Respectfully, I don't know who the hell my parents are, my actual biological parents.
Mm-hmm.
So could it be familial? Maybe. Can I find out? Yeah, but I'm not going to spend the $550 to open up my adoption papers.
Right.
So,
That
so it's just something to explore. So yeah, if you wanna sit down sometime, we'll figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What are you giggling at, Darren?
This waffle cakes, sugar lips stuff going on here.
A little bit unright. She's funny. Sorry.
I see that and I'm like,
She's funny. Sorry.
Oh, shoot.
She's in every one of my shows. It's funny.
Ducky.
Gotcha. So before we get totally off track,
Mm-hmm.
I have questions, sort of. So you worked at the mental health facility in Cherokee, correct?
Yeah, the CUSO side, the Civil Commitment Unit for Sex Offenders.
Uh-huh.
So the north wing is MHI and the south wing is CUSO, and I'm on the south side.
South wing.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, and I have asked this of other people that have worked there, and they really can't give me a straight answer because they look at me funny when I ask it. There is a building on that campus that they used for a school, correct? Not the main building.
That I don't know for sure.
Okay. Because I was talking to I distinctly remember talking to somebody that used to work there. And she said that when she worked there, she was in one of the outer buildings. I think that maybe they let staff members stay in.
Oh, why can't I think of the name of it now? There's the main building, there's Ginsburg, there's Donahue, and that actually used to be the nurses' living quarters.
And Donahue and is it Gansford?
Ginsburg.
Yeah, Ginsburg.
Mm-hmm.
That one and the Donahue building are shut down though, right?
No. Donahue is shut down. There's actually holes in the roof right now. It's terrible to see. It really is. But the Ginsburg, that's where the Yes Center is. A lot of people go there.
Which is the building that had the really, really pretty white porch on the front with the columns?
That's Donahue.
Oh, that's the Donahue building? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Worth Hall, that's still being used for apartments or
Right.
like if we have a blizzard or whatever, staff can stay there. You
Right.
can rent it out. There's storage buildings there too that you can rent out to the community. Yeah.
Have you ever stayed in one of those overnight?
No, I have not. I've had quite a few coworkers stay there though. There's no air conditioning. There's dead bugs on the ground.
Ew.
It's like a community kitchen, living room area. It's very dorm like. Like you have your own room and then like you have a community kitchen, living room area, bathroom,
Gotcha.
shower situation. Yeah, like in the individual rooms, it's just like a bed, a dresser if you're lucky, a sink, but the sink has no water running to it, so it's obsolete.
Useless.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's no AC, so it kind of sucks.
Okay, but anyway, she was talking about how one of the rooms that it was like one of the floors had classrooms and stuff in it, and I can't remember if it was a juvenile ward at one time or something, and she was talking about there was like buku activity in there, and I was like, because I couldn't figure out which building she was talking about.
I know in the Ginsburg building, I think it's the Ginsburg building, down in the tunnels where the morgue was. It's still there, obviously not in working condition at all, but like you go down in the tunnels, there's a huge tunnel system underneath all over campus, and you go through the tunnels down there and you actually go past the morgue. I have no idea if anybody has an access key to that or not. I'm sure somewhere somebody does, but it's out of my control. But yeah, they say that tunnel there by the morgue is really, really, really active. Ginsburg, kind of that basement area down there is pretty active.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So what are the things that...
Yeah, there's...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna finish up with, there's pictures. There was pictures. They have, I think, currently taken them down. Somebody had posted, and this was a while back, of pictures of a little girl apparition.
I have seen that, and I have held that picture in my hands. So there is a museum underneath.
Pardon me, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Did you want to pause or?
Sorry, I muted myself. No, keep going.
Okay. So, well, I didn't know if you wanted to hear it or not. No.
No.
Okay. Well, anyway,
we can catch him up later.
Underneath the north wing of the main building, underneath MHI, what was I going with this?
The picture.
Oh,
photo.
Yeah.
Child.
So you go all the way to the end of the north end there, in the basement, in the tunnels, and there's a museum. And anybody can go down to the museum. I can take you down to the museum. I've got the key.
Ooh, I want to go there.
Yeah,
I'm back.
I've got pictures on my phone. Last year, my oldest brother, he was home from leave for Christmas, and I got to take him down there at like midnight. It was so fun.
Ooh.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just...
I want to go to the museum.
Yeah, it's basically just a tour. There's no investigating. There's no nothing. Don't even try and bring your dowsing rods. Don't even try.
No.
Like,
no, I wouldn't.
You. But anyway, this girl, it's a little girl, and I really wish I had Don Laux here. He has worked at that facility for years and years and years, and he is full of paranormal stories. Amazing dude. Anyway, so this apparition of this little girl, you kind of go into like the main area of the museum. It's like dead center middle, and there's an old like coffee table, round coffee table that just sits there, and it holds the phone book, the old phone book, and like the whole old phone system is kind of nearby and stuff. And this gal, she was just down there taking a tour, and she was just taking pictures or whatever, and there was nothing there. And then when she got the pictures developed, this little girl was standing right next to this table. Don't know who she is, don't know anything about her, but like in the actual picture, you can see like the little lace details on the bottom of her skirt. You can see the little buckles on her shoes. You can see that she's got like, I don't know, shorter hair, like not even like shoulder length. It's like right here, and it's curly. And that's about all that you can see of her. But she's, oh golly, this coffee table, it's probably no taller than this table sitting here, and she was maybe about that much taller than it. If
yeah,
me correct,
looked to be about what, 5'6", somewhere
I
in
would
there.
almost say like 4 or 5. She was little. She was little. Yeah, but nobody has any idea who she could be, her history. That's about all that all the evidence that we have of her. And that was purely, on accident.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, do you guys keep like a dialogue of all the people that are in that place, and then after they pass, do you still keep like a book of the people that have passed?
Yes. So, way back in the day when it first started, there's actually, you can go down to the museum and look at these are big, gigantic, huge books, and the pages are like bigger than my torso. And that has all the admits, when they left, if they died there, and not all the deaths were recorded there either. I think there was a couple of like tuberculosis ran through there. A couple of other illnesses ran through there that just kind of wiped people out. But that's all down in the museum. As far as current patients, yeah, of course we keep records of all of that because court orders and stuff. Reportedly, there have been a couple of CUSO patients. I don't know if I should say this or not. They have died in our care, and nobody claims them. And so they get cremated at the local funeral home, and their urns and their remains are in storage down in the tunnels, supposedly.
Ew.
And supposedly, so it was about a year and a half ago or something, I was down in the tunnels looking for furniture or something. Anyway, one of my coworkers, he's kind of a senior staff, and he opened up this door, and he kind of looked back at me. He says, so supposedly the urns are somewhere in here, but nobody knows exactly where they are. So I don't know if I've actually been in the presence of these urns, these dead people's remains, or not. I have no idea. I don't know.
So, Cynthia, would something like that really leave an imprint in that area because they're down there in some area?
Oh, definitely. I mean, things like that definitely can leave an imprint. And like Sarah said, it is allegedly, supposedly this is what happened. So it's not fully 100% proven to be true or anything like that. But yes, if something like that was to happen, it could definitely leave an imprint, and especially for the people that passed, depending on why they were there, that can be another thing too, because to be, for lack of a better term, incarcerated, because they're not exactly incarcerated.
They're civilly committed. They're committed by a judge. Yeah.
But it's not like a prison, but it's like it's still a sentence that they have to fulfill. And 90% of them, I can tell you, don't want to be there.
Right.
And if you're not happy where you're at, and you tend to pass away there and not have anyone to mourn you or come after you or, do anything like that for you. Yeah, it can definitely leave an imprint because it's a tragic story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, and part of it though, the other part of it though is, they did something bad enough to get put in a place like that. So you add that on top of it.
Right.
And I would imagine, I won't say that I know because I don't work there, of course, but I would imagine, that a lot of them that get put there have some sort of mental issue.
They have multiple diagnoses when they come in, multiple. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so there's, you add that on top of everything else.
You just kind of wonder what kind of spirit's going to be.
That chemistry is just there to make that energy very, very potent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess if you do walk down her again, you feel weird, so to speak. It could be something that could be potentially.
So speaking of weird things down in the tunnels.
Oh Lord.
I've got a few stories here.
Bring them on.
I don't know. So anyway, when you drive up to campus, you basically have like the main stack. And then you've got the north wing and then you've got the south wing. Well, the main stack is known as the Four Corners because it's kind of like a cross. There we go. Okay. So anyway, we have a compass that sits on the tile floor. It's actually built into the tile floor on the main level and then also in the basement in the tunnel so you can see where you're going and what you're doing. And there was a nurse that was killed. I think it was in the 40s or 50s, and it's documented. Late 40s, early 50s, I want to say. A nurse was killed down in the tunnels near the Four Corners. Back before Kuso moved in there, it was just straight MHI, right? And the worst of the worst patients would be kept down in the tunnels. They were basically in solitary confinement. They were your schizos. They were your borderlines, basically your most uncontrollable ones. The only thing you could do is like maintain them the best you could. Anyway, one of them got loose. I hate to say that. One of them got loose, but
yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, and killed a nurse down there. So because the patients were more or less housed in the tunnels, the worst of the worst there, they say that if you don't have music going at all times, you can start hearing them like banging on the doors. You can start hear crying, some moaning, just like people in distress down there. So it's actually staged. We have a stereo system staged there at the Four Corners in the basement that constantly is playing music, either 101.3, 97.9, or whatever it is. Cool 99.5. There's always some kind of music going on down there. And I've only had it happen to me twice where I've gone down in the tunnels. I'm down there all the time. That radio, for whatever reason, is either turned off. There's no music coming in. No matter change the stations or whatever, nothing comes in. Don't know why. And then 45 minutes later, I'll be down there again and everything's working perfectly. It's weird. But yeah, like it's kind of an unknown rule that nobody touches the radio. Nobody turns it off. You just don't fuck with it. Just to kind of keep the peace and keep everybody happy down there. Yeah.
I'd be interested to sit down there for 45 minutes with it off.
Well, the cool thing about it is, and one of the reasons why I really want in that building is not because it is a mental hospital, but because it's a Kirkbride building. Kirkbride buildings are amazing.
They're
just
beautiful.
the way that they're built and the history behind how they're built. Because is it Thomas Kirkbride? I don't remember the guy's the guy's first name, but quit. My puppy's barking at my cat. But Kirkbride buildings are built with limestone, quartz, and other materials. So, number one,
Limestone.
they're conductors,
Mm-hmm.
limestone and quartz.
Yep.
They're all built near a running water source.
Yep.
Number two.
They're staged in, like she said, with the stack. They're staged in the cardinal directions so that the airflow and everything is supposed to be a certain way. It was supposed to help with the healing process.
The healing, the ventilation,
Yep.
Yeah.
And just the way that the Kirkbride buildings are built, they are so flippin' cool because they're all in the shape of a cross.
Yeah. It's
and they're just amazing to look at because Trans-Allegheny, you are just determined to get her. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum is a Kirkbride, and oh my god, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you that thing gets really crazy with a thunderstorm coming around then.
Yeah, it does. Like, you can almost like feel your bones vibrating in your body. It is so cool. So cool. I love thunderstorms. I hate
thunderstorms, full moons,
but I love thunderstorms there. It is so cool. It is.
I'm just waiting for the one to go up for sale here. I'd
so
buy it.
Another kind of cool thing about the history of that campus there is at one time, so basically it was a self-run its own community. It had agriculture, it had farming, gardening, had its own well, water system, you name it, they had it. And all of that you can find down in the, they have artifacts and stuff down in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, at one point, that campus was considered for Iowa State University, but they decided to go in Ames instead of in Cherokee, Iowa, believe it or not.
Wow.
I didn't know that until I'd been there for been working there for like a year, and I was like, holy cow, that is so cool. Like, could you imagine Cherokee, bumfuck Iowa being a college town? No,
is a college town.
Holstein would bleed into Cherokee, and so would Storm Lake, and it would just be one cluster. And
oh god, yes,
vomit.
Yeah. Ew.
Oh gosh, I went to Storm Lake today after work, and I can't handle traffic. I cannot do it. I think the older I get, the more it pisses me off.
Well, and Storm Lake's getting so much worse with the traffic and stuff. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Just cruising at 27 miles an hour and 40-mile-an-hour lane. Like 3 miles.
Yep.
And that's why I make
People
my wife
forget
drive.
how to drive.
I make my wife drive.
No.
I go off to the shoulder and just ride the shoulder all the way down and bypass everybody.
Hey, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I would. I don't think I could imagine Cherokee as a college town.
No.
Mm-mm.
So
I mean,
sorry.
Well, because I was going to say, because that's what Cherokee is known for, is the Mental Health Institute.
See, and I never knew that.
Here.
Like, I knew it existed, but I had no idea that Kuso was there. No idea. Oh. It's kind of like a diamond in the rough. No, well, of course, nobody wants to talk about sex offenders, but
mm-hmm.
I had no idea that such a thing even existed. And there's less than a dozen of these facilities in the United States alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got a facility in Oshkosh that has nothing but sex offenders.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. It's MHI itself. I mean, so a friend of mine and I, when this is back in 93-ish, 94-ish, somewhere in there, might even have been 95. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, her fiance at the time, or I don't even remember if they were engaged, but they had gotten into an argument, and he decided to be the wise one and start walking down the middle of the frickin' road. And I'm not talking, figuratively. I'm talking literal middle line of the frickin' highway, trying to get hit because he was mad at her.
Oh my.
So he ended up getting himself stuck in MHI for, what is it, mandatory?
I think a committed is 48 hours.
Is it?
I think so.
This was a court ordered like 30 days or something. I don't remember.
Oh.
Yeah. Judge got him. Anyway, he had gotten a court ordered. He was in there for at least 3 weeks, maybe a month. But we had went to visit him, and that place, when you step over the threshold, oh my God. You talk about intense, not so much heavy, because heavy is always going to be in a place like that. But the intensity of the energy and the intensity of just the vibration of the place.
Yeah.
I looked at her and I told her, I'm like, okay, 20 minutes, we in, we out, we done. I said, because I don't like this.
Yeah. Like if I could describe like the vibrations of that place, like sometimes it's super low and very slow, kind of like thunder.
Mm-hmm.
If thunder could ever be put on a pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody could visualize that or not. Sometimes it's just easy, slow, low, just like if God ever had a voice. That's best. That's what it is. And then sometimes it is so high and so quick, like it almost like screeches your ears and like it makes you want to scratch your tongue sometimes. You got to get out of that area, whatever that is. You got to go. You got to get out. You're sitting on the edge of your seat all the damn
you're
time.
crawling.
And it can switch from one end of the spectrum to the other within minutes. It's nuts. Like I said, you go down to the tunnels and you put kitchen shit away, whatever, and you go back up and then you got to go back down to go get whatever from the storeroom. And it could be very, very different feeling both times within a 10-minute span. It's nuts.
It's crazy, for lack of a better term.
Levels. So I have talked to the patients a little bit about kind of their experiences there, believe it or not. And you don't really know if you can believe them or not because they're like the best manipulators in the state of Iowa. But there's a couple of them that I feel like are exceptions. And so how the wards are set up, so you have your middle stack, right? And then like off to this direction is South 1, South 2, South 3. And then above that is South 4, South 5, South 6. And then above that is South 7, South 8, South 9. Okay? And all of your 3, 6, and 9 are on the south side of the building, the very end. And then your 1, 4, and your 7 is on the north end. And then you got your middle stack. And this is all in the south wing. Can you visualize that maybe?
It's just visualizing it's massive.
So South 8 is on the top floor, but the middle stack. Okay. A lot of folks say that that's one of the most active. The middle stack is one of the most active places within the building, supposedly. And it's all on the north end of that stack.
I wonder why that's all just on one side, not on both.
I don't know. So like South 5 patients, they have made very similar reports of like their furniture. Like they'll wake up in the middle of the night because they think that their furniture is being moved around in their room. And it's all on the north end. I don't remember which rooms they are specifically now. But I've had patients report that. I've had patients report the same thing. So South 5 sits directly below South 8. I've had the same thing with patients reporting the same exact activity, almost like directly above, like to the room exact. South 8, though, they report hearing growling sometimes out in the hallway. I've had 2 patients report that on the north end of South 8. But then again, yeah, it's the moving of the furniture, like their curtains moving. They have curtains. Almost every room has a window and curtains and stuff. But a lot of it is just furniture moving and growling out in the hallway, especially on South 8.
Do you ever think about maybe put a camera in there just to see? But I suppose that's,
You can't.
personal space.
So,
You can't.
fun fact, there are cameras everywhere in the facility for our own safety because patients like to physically attack each other and physically attack staff. So everything is cameraed. The only thing with that is, HIPAA violations, privacy violations, X, Y, and Z. But yeah, I would kill to work in master control at night. Master control is like, it's kind of what you see on TV with like CSI, with all the fucking monitors and all the cameras, and you're clicking doors, and you're the mastermind of like who goes where, when, at what time. You're basically conducting movement within the whole building. Anyway, I would kill to be in master control just as an extra to see if you can see anything, like if doors move or if curtains move or if furniture does actually move or not. How cool would that be?
That'd be fun to watch all that.
That would be killer.
Yeah. And with our old camera system, I haven't been there for that, but I guess the old camera system, they also had audio on it too, so it would record audio.
There you go.
Yeah. But
so on Amazon, they have these things called pen recorders.
Okay.
They look like an actual pen, but it's got a built-in recorder. Should try to put one in their sleeve once and do a rogue one.
Darren.
No, I would lose my job.
I know.
It's called HIPAA. You can't.
No.
No. Just walking around the building.
HIPAA is the reason why nobody can go in and investigate there.
Yeah.
I know.
There's so many things I would love to do. So many, like I've even thought about like nobody knows what a K2 is. Nobody knows that shit. Nobody knows where I work, except for one. But like nobody would know what that is, and just flop it down on the desk. Oh, what's that? Nothing.
Nothing.
You can't do that. I would lose my job.
I know.
Get written up and be like, I would never be able to work for the state.
Because we had a phone meeting with the director, and
Corey Turner?
Yes, ma'am. And we were
on Facebook.
Huh? What's that?
Nothing. Never mind.
We were explaining to him what our goals were, what we wanted to do, what hoops we would jump through, anything that they wanted, we offered. I mean, we even would have been happy to just outbuildings,
Yeah.
Didn't have to do anything in the main building, outbuildings. Ones that weren't being used, whatever we could do.
Yeah.
And absolutely not.
Nope.
Because of HEPA.
Well, and you don't know this until you like work there, or if you're a very critical thinker, but like,
safety's sake. Yeah.
Yeah. The facility has a shit ton of windows. Patients are sitting in there doing nothing but twiddling their thumbs. What do you think they're going to be doing? I mean, these patients, they know what I drive. They know when I come. They know when I go. They know if I smoke. They like they do nothing but study. So like if they see people wandering around, they're gonna be like, "Oh, who's that? What are they doing here?
Yep.
What's the
Yeah.
connection?
Oh no.
Where are they from? Do they have any children?"
Yeah.
Right.
No. And I
spin.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
And that's why, I wasn't like, I guess that's why I wasn't like stomping my feet and throwing a tantrum that we couldn't get in there.
Yeah.
Because I get that. I've been in those situations, I've been in situations where I have worked hand in hand with law enforcement when I was an interpreter in Sioux City.
Yeah.
And, working with security now. And, I've been in those situations where if you're on the outside, you don't normally think about putting yourself in a situation like that. What would happen?
It doesn't occur to you because you're not.
Yeah, you don't think about the what ifs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And to Sarah's point, she's totally spot on when she says they have nothing better to do.
Yep, I can agree with that.
Yep.
And I think a lot of times, I bet you they're just sitting there planning their escape when they can,
Some of them do.
or how they're going to get out of there.
Yeah.
Some do. Yeah, I'm sure some do.
It's pretty normal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that she works at the health institute here. I seen her probably 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she looked beat up so bad. Like a chunk of her hair was pulled out of her head. She had a black eye, broken nose.
Yeah.
Like, really? And they're still there?
Yeah. Believe
they
it or
are
not,
master manipulators.
Yeah. Well, I would say by far the north end, the actual MHI end, they get far more assaults, physical violence than we do on the CUSO side. I would say the patients on the CUSO side, they try and attack your personality. They try and attack your character. They try to get under your skin. That's they just try and mentally break you down. That's how they're not really physically assaultive very often.
That's how they work. That's how that's how they manipulate you.
Yeah, it like I say, it all starts with one piece of gum, and then they're in your pocket, and then you can't get rid of them, and then you're blackmailed, and next thing you know, you might be dead, or your family might have a hit out on them.
Wow!
All because of one piece of gum. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be very, very careful, and I think I've gotten very conditioned to having my walls up so incredibly high. I've never had my walls up this high before, and like sometimes I have to remind myself that, hey, I'm in Walmart, I'm in Target, I can like smile and say hi to people. I don't have to be a bag of bitch all the time, it's just, or like when somebody like, oh hi, how are you? Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you. I just want to be like, buzz off, but instead it's like, they're human. They have no hidden agenda with me. It's, you know what I mean? It's kind of sad. And I feel like I've gotten rough around the edges because of it sometimes.
It's hard to condition yourself not to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when we worked at Faith, Hope, and Charity.
Yeah.
You could not get attached to those kids because if you did, you were in trouble.
Yeah.
And it was so hard when you see those kids cry, or you see those kids,
struggle,
suffering or struggling or anything, and you cannot personally step in and do anything. You have to follow your procedures and their procedures, and you can't let that normal instinct out.
Yep.
And with these guys, it's 100% worse because you can't even smile.
No, I actually, this morning when I was at work, I actually kind of got bombarded by one of the patients. They're like, "Do you think I'm funny?" What do you mean? Well, I say all these jokes all the time and you don't really ever laugh. You just, yeah. Well, I've heard you laugh before and like you almost snort sometimes. And it's like,
she does. She
okay,
does.
I don't. Piss off. I don't. But anyway,
yes, you do.
It just got to that
I
point.
do it myself.
And then that conversation kind of gotten to a point where this patient was all like, well, I just don't know how to take you sometimes. And it's like, buddy, have I ever asked you to shut up or to like stop saying these jokes? Well, no. Okay, would you be concerned if I did? Well, yeah. Okay, then we're good, buddy. Like, you're thinking way, way too far into this. There's nothing here. There's nothing going on between you and me. You need to like go find something else to do. And he's all like, well,
yeah,
they all just say things about you. I'm sure you've already heard it. And I said, no, I don't really care. He says, well, they all say that you're bipolar. Cool. So what do?
Yeah.
I go down the hall and I go to the other patient and I said, guess what? I just learned that I'm effing bipolar today. I had no idea. None. Isn't that cool? And then they all just start laughing. And then this other guy, I'm sure he felt like a complete asshole, but whatever. Like that's like the example of like, they try and get under your skin by making snide comments like that. You just gotta just
see you later.
Not even. See ya. Bye. Find something else to do. I don't care. It doesn't hurt me. I go home at night. You don't. Why don't you focus on your treatment instead of focusing on staff?
Yep.
So anyway, not to get on that tangent. This isn't about work.
So what about the cemetery? Do you guys have a cemetery out there?
We do have a cemetery. I may or may not have been out there before.
Okay.
I have. It is. So, Cynthia, you would probably empathize with this. You know, when you're around mentally or physically handicapped people, like sometimes you just get like the willies. And you're just like, I don't even know how to like handle these people. And that I feel kind of shitty saying that, but I'm trying to be honest. You love them, you care about them, you empathize with them, but you just still kind of get the willies. Like, golly, why does God make people like this? This doesn't make whatever. Anyway, so I thought by going out to the cemetery, I would be getting similar feelings of like getting the willies or just like, ugh. Not at all.
Yeah.
It was incredibly sad.
Yes.
It was incredibly I don't even know how to describe it. Like if you could imagine like your closest person in your life being dead and just standing there in the dark, just looking at you, not being able to see anything, say anything, nothing. They just stand there. It's like that, but like hundreds of them.
Been there, done that, babe.
Yeah, that's like the best way I can describe that cemetery. Is that you have 100 multiples of your person dead, not being able to say a damn thing to you, but they're just standing there looking at you. They're almost, I don't know if they're like necessarily anticipating you to like help them or save them, but they just want acknowledgement that I'm here. This sucked. I know there's nothing I can do about it. But this sucked. And I want you to know that this sucked a lot.
So
yeah. Yeah, that's the energy that I got from that place.
When I went back there, I was 20. I was not supposed to be back there, of course, because technically you are not supposed to go back there. I did not know this, and I had somebody that I was dating at the time told me, "Hey, let's go check out the cemetery," and I'm like, "Okay." Stupid, young me going. Fine.
That's probably
So
before
we
they put
wandered
the
back there.
new bricks in and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because they put it like a new.
Because so I was gonna say,
Anyway.
so when I went, the walls weren't. I mean, it was maintained, but it wasn't well kept. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went back there, and the thing that struck me first when I got back there is the difference when you actually stepped into the cemetery as per standing outside of it.
Yeah.
Once you step in there, it's like all sound disappears.
Yes. Yes.
It is absolutely silent.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing that I had noticed, and it may have been just because it was that time of year, because it was late summer, almost hitting fall, but everything on the outside of the cemetery was still green, was still growing, was still, good. But the minute you hit inside those walls, and pardon the pun, but everything was dead. The grass was dead. Everything was brown. It was not well kept. It was just awful. And the amount of sadness and the amount of anger that was in that place coming from the energy, that was there was just,
it was like overpowering.
Like Sarah said, it's like, yeah, it's like knowing that there are over 100 people or so that are just sitting there crying out for help, but nobody can see them. Nobody can hear them. Nobody's going to do anything.
Yeah. Like kind of what I got from them is like, it's like they want to cry out, but they know it's not going to help.
Yeah.
Them. So
yeah.
they just stand there in silence. Like,
yep.
Well, I got fucked.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a heavy, sad feeling.
Yeah.
Back in that area that you don't want to stay too long.
No, and then like what gets me even more about that place is, granted, I'm sure financing and yada 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 wasn't there per se, but they had broken up pieces of concrete with the rewire still in it.
Oh, rebar, yeah.
Yeah, the rebar is still in it, and it's still like poking out of these chunks of concrete that are half-assed in the ground as markers. Oh. And since I've been there, they have made a memorial where there's like bricks with engravings of their name and when they were born, they passed. Dated. Yeah, and it's like gated in. It's beautiful, that area, but the actual cemetery, yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, because the walking trails, you can actually go down, and so the public can actually go down and walk the trails.
Yes.
That are there. The public just cannot go down into the cemetery area.
Right. You have to go through somebody's pasture, I think, to get access to it. Like there's a
operation
there, I think.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. But because Roland had never been back there. And so I took him to the general area. I didn't take him to the actual cemetery because I didn't want us to get in trouble. And, we were at that time really trying to want to do something there. And so I took him on the trails and we walked the trails.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, why can we not go back there? I said, because it is technically a private cemetery.
Yeah.
This is not public ground.
No.
Where that cemetery is at is not public ground. Technically, we are not on public ground. They have opened it up to the public to be able to walk the trails.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah. So no, we can't go back there.
And they're pretty picky about things of that nature. Like I mentioned before, master control. Like if you're driving around campus, I guarantee you we've got your license plate written down, your make and your model of your vehicle within seconds. If you're driving around, we want to know why you're there. What are you doing? Are you taking pictures? Are you being obnoxious? Are you threatening to kill one of our patients? It's happened before. It's like, no, we want to know why you're on campus. What are you doing?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got the license plate for the Jetta because that's what we had was the Jetta. So if you see a license plate written down that says Mousers, that's Roland's Jetta.
That's okay.
Yeah, because Roland and I had the Jetta. But I mean, he had never been actually up there on the campus.
It's beautiful.
And so I just looked at him one day.
So there's a building, though, that gives me the heebie-jeebies up there. It is... So if you're ever on campus, so there's the main building, and then behind that, on the north end to the west, is Worth Hall. And then kind of across the street, there's this building. I don't remember what it's called. That might be the schoolhouse of what you were talking about, because they use it for storage still.
Yeah, I think so.
And like we have access to it because we have a lot of our storage in there. It's not where Jackson Recovery is. That's Volding. That's the Volding building. It's on the opposite end. But that I can't. Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I can't even like even talking about
Go
it.
buy
it? No, like I get
just gives you the willies, huh?
20 to 25 feet of that building, and I just
shut down, huh?
Nope.
I freeze.
I just shut down.
It is. It's one of those. It's one of those that if you were to get around it, you would, Darren. You would turn around and go, nope.
Yeah, you probably want to like skin yourself before you took another step farther. Like that's how I feel like the closer I get to it, the more I feel like my skin is going to like physically peel off my body. Or like melt off my body. I'm not allowed, for whatever reason, I'm not allowed to go near that building. I don't know.
Yeah,
I get that. I get that feeling of some buildings.
Yeah. But that's
and you know, there's so much history on that place that we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that was my son coming in. Dad, how much longer are you on?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we should kind of start wrapping this up though, Darren, because we are like 20 minutes over our allotted time.
Oh shoot. I haven't even gotten to like all my experiences there.
We will do a part 2.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. It's
yeah.
Cool.
And plus you're not feeling so hot and I want you to get some rest, so.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean we'll schedule another round and get the whiskey out.
I know. It's helping, man. It is. I can't breathe out of my right nostril, but it's helping.
There you go.
So, with that, at this point, we'll continue the conversation down the road some more. I thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight, and Cynthia for co-hosting with me tonight. It's a lot of fun, and especially you get to learn a lot about the building that you want to really get to.
Yeah, like in the next part, I feel like we're gonna have like a part 2 and a part 3 here, to get through all the stories, all the experiences, my own personal experiences.
This was just the introduction, folks.
Yeah, like if I'm telling you, if you want more stuff, firsthand stuff,
Talk to her.
Join. Get
Absolutely.
on here and join. It is fascinating.
Absolutely.
I can't even make this shit up.
No.
You want to let the people know how they can get a hold of you?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Sarah Jo Galvin. I have new business cards. Parafly. How
Very
cool.
cool.
Is that? I know.
Very cool.
And then there's contact information on the back of here. I have posted them on our Parafly Facebook page as well, so you can search that. We have an email account. You can actually scan this fancy little deal here.
That QR code.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
We're like fancy.
Look at you.
Not to mention, you actually went on Paranormal Investigation with Cynthia, didn't you, not at Squirrel Cage?
Yes. I'm going there. Is it this upcoming weekend? Again?
I think so.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I think so. So I'm going to be there. I think Tori from Kansas is coming. And
Is she?
Yes.
Oh,
I
I'm
haven't
jealous.
seen her for like a year and a half, and I've got a whole other story with that woman. Holy cow.
Jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna have to be like a part 4 at this point. There's so much to talk about.
Like I said, I'm gonna go.
Well, we'll get that all in, and
yeah.
we'll get that stuff all scheduled and stuff. And are you guys gonna have guests on Parafly once you get it up and going? As far as
like doing an event and stuff.
Events, guests, hosting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping so. This might sound crazy and kind of like, I don't want to say childish or immature, but I've always wanted to. So I've got a pasture where my horses and my donkey are at, but I've always wanted to have like a big old bonfire.
Donkey.
I don't know, donkey. She's donk. She's got a Marby Red in one hand and a whiskey in the other. Anyway, literally. Anyway, I've always wanted to have a campfire out there and just share stories and introduce people to each other and just connect and have fun and whatever.
Oh, heck yeah.
And
That'd be a good time.
Yeah, so I have a part 5 coming up too. I have to share my house that I grew up in as well.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
That is pretty significant. And my father, he still lives there, obviously. It's almost 3-generation acreage there. But yeah, he had some stuff recently happen. I think he's a sensitive himself. I don't know if he wants to admit it or not. Pretty sure he is.
But he's where you got it from?
Yeah, I think it's in the line of Galvin's.
Yep.
My dad's side. Yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah. So anyway.
That's all going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait for all these part 4, part 5s.
I'll have to come up with a 6.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And not to mention that we're going to have the Freaky Squeaky coming up soon, so we can have her on that.
That's what I was going to say. We can drag her onto a Raven Rose podcast.
I would be so down.
I will let you know, dearest.
And honored, really.
I will let you know.
Okay. Sweet.
So, like I said before, thank you guys for joining us tonight for this awesome interview with Sarah Jo. And yeah, we're going to have plenty of other parts. Like I said, this is just the introduction. There's going to be plenty more of paranormal experiences that we're going to be talking about with her and stuff like that at the home and other places. So with that, I thank you. You've been watching the BB3 TV Network and the Paranormal Brew on YouTube as well for MGS Paranormal. So with that, that's Cynthia. And that's Sarah Jo. I'm Darren. And I bid you adieu, and y'all have a fantastic weekend.